loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.
Mental health might not be the first thing on the lips of individuals right now, but I can tell you, for us to get through this, we have to find a way to remain mentally sound. We told you some ways last week, and we're going to continue this conversation. Join us. And this is with Roxanne White, mental health advocate. The whole idea of sleeping and ensuring that your sleeping patterns basically, regularized. And you made it. You said something earlier when you said you can be getting more sleep, but then you get up and you're not feeling rested. So I want you just reinforce that point for people to understand that there's a difference between just getting enough sleep and there's a difference between resting.
Yeah, there is a difference because I like to tap into the speaking about myself personally so people can have a practical view of things. So when I just came home, when they announced that, okay, we're going to be suspending classes for students, we're going to be encouraging people to work from home and that kind of thing. Because I was at home, the usual structure that I have, I did not have that structure, right? So you found that I was going to bed late, waking up early, and then sleeping throughout the day simply because I was bored. And when I would go to sleep and get up back, I'd still be tired because even when I'm sleeping too, because I was worrying about how COVID-19 will impact the things I had planned to do, and now being in that space where I'm online all the time and having that lack of structure, it affected my sleep. And there's a thing called oversleeping. Too much of anything is bad, right?
Isn't right?
Yeah, too much of anything at all is bad. So you find that a lot of people are oversleeping. So the kind of restfulness that they're supposed to experience when they get up there and not
it's not happening.
So it's important. One of the things that persons can do to regulate their sleeping pattern is to create a structure at this time. So just as how you would get up, you have an 8 o'clock class, you would get up at say 6:30, you probably have your devotion. After you have your devotion, you make your breakfast, and after you make your breakfast, you start to get ready and whatever. You have to replicate some of these things and create a new routine for yourself. So get up at your usual time and do your activities. There are probably additional activities that you will have to put in place to kind of serve as an alternative for the ones that you had before. But it is important that you have that structure, including the breaks that you take from social media, when you eat, the time you go to bed, the time you wake up. If you're a person who exercises, you still have your exercise time, even though you can't go to the gym. There has to be a routine because that will be very helpful in regulating your sleep.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm going to lump these three because I believe they're all connected. Well, your sleep can then impact on how you operate or how you're able to function during the day, because you mentioned the whole idea that you might have difficulty concentrating. Then you also, for me, if I have difficulty concentrating and don't get what I want done, I can get anxious. And then I don't have depression symptoms, but I know for other persons, because of just how anxious they can get, it can then lead to depression.
Yeah.
So how can we then work on ensuring that, because a lot of these things basically feed into each other. So how can we basically quote unquote almost stop that cycle, or even before it begins?
The, in the proactive sense,
Mm-hmm.
persons who are not experiencing these symptoms of anxiety and all of that, put systems in place to prevent that. So
Okay.
if it is that you need to create a routine, do that. If there are persons that help you stay grounded, that you can talk to about your concerns and how COVID-19 is affecting your life, tap into these persons, connect with these persons. And you have more time to connect with them now than
Than
before.
before.
So, yeah, so that's something that you can do. And it's important to, as I said, maintain your routine. That's one of the biggest things. Maintain your routine. And in terms of the information that you're getting as it relates to the COVID-19 and everything, while it is important to keep updated, it is also important to make sure that you're getting the information from credible sources. Because once you're getting the information from credible sources, that too determines how you will react to it.
True. True. True.
Yeah,
True.
so you will trust that you won't be getting any misinformation, and so you'd be more likely able to relax, knowing that, okay, this is what I need to be doing, this is what is happening, so I can plan accordingly, versus having to constantly be sifting through
Mm.
all this information. So save yourself the trouble by just going to the credible source in the first place. And have a specific time for when you check your sources. Don't constantly be feeding yourself this information right throughout the day, because the thing is, what you focus on
Yes.
is what is going to drive everything you do. So if you're constantly focusing on COVID-19 and you're reading up on symptoms and whatever, and you may end up even thinking about it so much that you start to manifest the symptoms of COVID and not there.
True. True. True.
So it's very important for you to limit your, what I call your diet, your
Mm-hmm.
online diet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
to
Yes.
put
It's
that in perspective.
it's interesting you should say that, because I happen to have numbers of several students. No, and I do scroll through and I watch their statuses. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
stalking anybody, so yeah, so people don't have to worry about that. But interestingly enough, I was scrolling through a status recently and recognized that a young man posted, young enough guy,
Mm-hmm.
posted something giving the impression that he was drinking. So I commented and I said to him, be careful
Mm-hmm.
of, and he made a comment, I think that is what boredom does to you or something. So giving the impression, okay, I have a lot of time on my hands, so here I am experimenting. So I had a little conversation with him, but yes, I am using it as an example, because I think now that when people have a lot of quote unquote free time,
Mm-hmm.
they feel as if it is no time to experiment, which might then over time lead to substance abuse. So speak to that a little bit for me, please.
I mean, if you want to experiment with good things that will have long-term good benefits for you. For
Mm-hmm.
example, there's a online platform that I've registered to, and I've been registered with them for quite some time. And one of the things that some of the instructors have been doing is giving away free courses.
Ah.
Right. So I then shared that link, or shared that on my social media to say, okay, there are about 35 free courses that are being offered. If you want the coupon, let me know, and I'll start that out for you. And several people sent me their email addresses, and I sent that to them, and they're now benefiting from these courses,
Nice.
courses that will help them be able to even generate income online if they stick with it. because we don't know how long this is going to last. And you need to make the money. So
Yes.
right now, I think that persons should be using the time to make plans for the future, especially because their futures or life as we know it is going to change. It's not a matter
Yes.
of if it will change, but simply a matter of how it will
How
change.
it's going to change.
Yeah. So right now it's prime time for you to, or for us, because I still feel like I have not been maximizing on the time that I have now. But now is a very good time to develop new skills that will ultimately have good benefits. I don't see where drinking or at any time is going to have any long-term benefits.
So
The long-term effects, you might end up with liver issues. You may become addicted and dependent on it. No. Right now, reallocate your energy and your time to pursuing things that you've always wanted to do, but did not have the time to do. Now you have the time to do it. There's no excuse for why you can't be doing it now.
yeah. You've said a lot, but is there anything else you'd want to add as we're wrapping up in terms of how to remain mentally sound in spite of all that's happening around us in this season?
So I'm a person of faith. So the thing I would say right now, you have an ample time to be praying, building a relationship with God, studying the Word. Not everybody is a person of faith like myself, but there are persons who have different practices. There are persons who meditate. There are persons who write. There are persons who listen to music. Whatever it is that keeps you grounded, make sure that you're doing those things. So if it's praying for you and reading the Bible, pray and read the Bible. If it is meditating, meditate. If it is listening to music, listen to your music. If it is coloring a book, by all means, color your book. You have to do what is important to keep yourself sane, and also you can't pour from an empty cup. So while there are persons you're connecting with to help them stay sane, like when you're going into an aircraft and they tell you that you need to put on your mask first before you help the person next to you, right now you have the time to be putting on your mask. You have the time to be pouring into yourself and staying grounded so that you are able to help the people you connect with during this time.
Excellent note to end on. I I trust, because with all of this, I find no other way of saying all of this madness. I trust that we all will take the time, Roxanne, to just ensure that we stay mentally sound and do the things, take this time to do the things that will, and connect with the people that will help us to do just that.
Yes.
Thanks. And I trust we will have another mental health conversation soon. This was Make It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. Until next time.
Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.